We're gonna go through one of my favorite ones today, that strengthen relationships is a good one. It's a real quick one. Get to know people better. Have a good day.
It's just that simple.
It's that simple. Yeah. Call them and say hi. All right. So by the end of the day, you'll be able to apply follow-up principles for leads to contacts. Do we know the difference in a lead and a contact? Is it? Is he coming to do that? Huh? The difference between a lead and a contact. Right. So a lead, right. A lead is you have one-way conversations. Contact is you have two-way permission for two-way conversation, essentially. Create a 36 to convert touch plan. That would be converting your leads into contacts. Design and use MOFR messages that generate interest. Does everybody know what MOFR stands for? What's that? Yeah, it's make an offer for immediate response. MOFR, make offer for immediate response. Yeah. That's a great call. Yeah. If you're not a member of the Facebook group Pivot Shift Ahead, you should join that Facebook group. Most, yeah, it's open to anybody. It's mostly Keller Williams. Because James Shaw runs it, and he's a bold coach and many other things. Yeah. So all as Stacy's looking for her MOFR, we'd also, the fourth thing we'll know today is develop a strategy to grow the number of contacts in your database. So start thinking about what you'll learn today and consider what questions you might have and what we'd like to learn more about. So what mindset do we need to adapt to successfully nurture relationships with contacts? All right, Stacy says come from contribution, which is good. You always want to come from contribution. Yeah. Yeah. So Teresa said learning who you're talking to and how to deal with different personalities, which is, it's kind of important for us to be chameleons to some level. I think we'd all agree with that. People are different. Sometimes we have to learn to adjust our filters to be different as well. That's good.
There's a lot to that. I like this a little bit more, like people now conversations with clients on trying to figure out who they are. Like they got IT or they got S or C, and that has been super helpful for me to kind of change how I do things.
You're probably right. I'm sorry.
But as much as like having a conversation across from them as opposed to like next to them. And I have that, like, if I'm talking to like an E or an I, like this is fine. If I'm talking to someone who's more like a C or an S, it's going to be more collaborative. It's gonna be better if I'm sitting next to them and we're doing this together as opposed to like.
Yeah. So judging by your face, you don't know what the disc assessment is, right? Yeah, the disc is a highly successful one. Actually, when we incorporated in my previous market center, I can think of 2 or 3 people that actually had their spouse take it, and it actually helped improve their communication in their marriage, because through the disc they learned how that person learned and how that person learned, and the best way to communicate with this person. You know, there's the one where they're too stubborn, don't ever talk to them. I'm kidding. No.
I think that is so helpful too. Like I never thought about that, but now I know like I'm definitely
Yeah.
definitely seeing this. Well, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Because the Super D struggles sometimes working with particularly an S. Yeah, but we'll get into that later, but the DISC is a DISC. It's a great test to take. It doesn't even take that long to take the test. And it's,
I'll go for.
Stacy's gonna read her MOFR.
This is like an email you can send to full. Hey, so you can finish the following sentence for me. I could sell my home for blank. I would list my home this spring. I can't wait to hear your answer.
Yeah, did we hear that? Jesse, did you hear what she said?
I heard it mostly fill in the blank. If I could sell my house for this price, I
It
would.
was, it was an email intended to send out to your old client,
Yeah.
old database, old leads that said, if you could sell your house for blank,
Yeah.
would you be willing to sell it today?
Yeah, I would list my home this spring.
I would list my home this spring, yeah. If I could sell my house for X, I would list my home this spring.
And the subject is name your price.
Yeah, and the subject is name your price.
That's
Since
good.
I just moved, I would put $500,000 on my house, which would gain me a profit really fast. And I don't like moving, that's why.
Here we go. You know, I'm very motivated.
So that's a good one. Know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, and focused action. That's from Shift. So that's really good. Clarity around your why. Why am I doing what I do? Setting your priorities based on having success around your why and focusing on said priorities during the times you should focus on. Family time is super important. You should at least spend 15 to 20 minutes with your family a day. That's a joke, more. All right, we've seen this one before. Does anybody remember what this model is called? Yep, it's lead generation and database model. But Stacy remembered it. So in the last session, we worked on the tools to convert leads. So as a reminder, we prospect and market to bring leads and contacts to our database. That's why we prospect and market. It's to gain leads for our database. If your database is small, your closings will be small. Your units, I should say that your units will be small. The bigger your database, the more units you will have. So again, leads are the people you have contact information for, and you have a way to follow up with them. Contacts are the people you know, and you can have conversations with them. These are people who expect to hear from you. They know who you are and that you are an agent who can help them with their real estate needs. So what makes the difference between contacts and leads important? Yeah. So Teresa said it's very important to move them from lead to contact so you can move them from contact to appointment. That's essentially what she said. It's hard to take somebody directly from lead to a listing contract or a buying contract. You get used to saying buying contract. Anybody else? I think that was a pretty good one right there. Yeah, that's right. You got to start with leads. You got to start somewhere. And then you call them and you make them a contact. Or text them or DM them for you young folks. Right, show up on their front porch. I've done that a lot. It works actually. Just not in a threatening manner. So remember the third C in our Y4C2T. I'll allow you to cheat and look at the wall on the back. Communication, seek first to understand. If we have approached our conversations with contacts with this maxim in mind, we understand their needs and communicate with our contacts based on those needs. We want to know their needs and we want to be able to communicate with them on their level. Does that make sense? And that communication, seek first to understand, falls under that, among other things. My favorite, and we should remember this when we're going through the buying process on either side, as well as we should remember it in our personal lives, is that don't react. Step back and think, where are they coming from? Why would that other agent act so harshly and quickly? Don't just react to it because that just throws fuel, right? Think back and ask yourself why. Maybe they're not acting that way because they don't like me or because they're a jerk. They're just defending their client and they're doing their job. So I'm going to defend my client, do my job. Does that make sense? But step back and think why, and that'll always make everything smoother. We always want to be the one to take the high road. Focus on building relationships and taking market share. So just by reading posts and watching crazy YouTube videos, which I hope you're not doing, does this seem like a perfect time to start taking market share? Yes. Because there's going to be fear-based agents out there that are afraid, as opposed to being willing to maybe adjust to some little tweaks. It's not really big tweaks if we really think about it. If we can adjust to a few new things, we will take market share. Always look at it as a way to grow, not that they're trying to hurt us. Does that make sense? Nothing to be afraid of. Was it Gary Keller always, what does he say? A little quote, I put it out there about 12 times. You're close.
That is awesome.
You're doing a bold law. Yeah, you can have reasons or results, but you can't have both. One of them, yes. Yeah, the other one I was talking about is something along the lines of change is inevitable. Your willingness to change is optional. So let's establish a mindset around follow up with our contacts. If your database is a garden, then your leads are the seeds, your contacts are plants, and your conversion is the harvest. What do you think about the expression on the slide? Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. How does that affect your mindset? Yeah, you need to have more conversations, need to build more relationships. And that's what I kind of look at lead generation as. Like, lead gen is more relationship building and relationship growing. You're just making new friends and new friends that you want to help out down the road. Right. And that's why you want to follow up, because you're not going to knock on somebody's door and they say, yes, I want to list your house, my house today. You're going to have a conversation with them. So it takes an average of 7 touches, 7 follow-ups to get an appointment. That's an average. Over 4 million transactions, they average of 7. Some of them might be 3 years. Some of them might be 3 days. Once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and stay in touch with them forever. If you don't have a shift book, because a lot of these quotes are from Shift, let me know and I will get you a shift book. We have some here. The red one is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. The white one is Shift. Okay, we'll look. See, I think I have some right back there. In order to be successful at nurturing relationships, we must understand our goals. So look at this graph and compare it to the wave graph, where every person in your database is on the wave of being ready to buy. In this graph, we have the lead generation phase on the left, where you're gathering and storing leads rather quickly. In fact, you can actually generate leads in days or weeks. On the right end of the graph, you are busy with the transaction process, which can last from 2 weeks to 2 months. So how long is the lead follow-up phase? Do you recall how many years it is between buying homes on an average? Yep.
4 to 7, 5 to 7.
What was that? Say it again, Desmond.
4 to 7, 5 to 7.
5 to 7. Yeah, that's a good number too. The national average is 7 to 10 years. Y'all are both on it with the 7. Does it make sense how important lead follow-up is? Even after you have that closing, you want them to remember you for their next purchase, right? Remember, 85% of the closings, the clients love their agent. 2 years later, 15% remembered their agent's name. Whose fault is that?
Agent.
Agent's fault, not staying in touch post-close. You should have a post-close smart plan set up for every one of your clients. you want to know how to do that, we will have a bunch of, I'd love to have a smart plan class around that, around a few things, actually. Lead follow-up plus lead conversion is the path to a signed contract and a transaction. Of course, leads who express immediate interest in your service areas are more likely to be ready to convert to an appointment right away. Those are wonderful, which we don't get very often, except Stacy does. Jesse did too. Jesse walked across the street.
Yep.
wanna
I
sell your
didn't have
house?
to cross the street. They were just right next door.
Yeah, he sold his next door neighbor's house. Jesse's picking his whole neighborhood. He's actually just
Yep.
forcing people to move that he doesn't like. But,
Mhm.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You leave your garbage cans out too long, selling your house. You're done. Not even asking. I'm putting a sign in the yard and MLS sheet. It's out.
I'm passive aggressive about it. Do you know how much your house is worth?
Yeah, exactly. So our goal from session 11 was to convert leads to appointments, and we learned that not every lead is able, ready, or willing to meet. When we encounter folks who are not ready for an appointment, we use follow-up to stay in contact until they're ready for an appointment. So did you hear that? How long do we stay in contact with leads? Until they're ready for an appointment. Right, either one, right, either one. It shouldn't be, I'll call you in a couple of months. We should be in touch with them through that process. If you had to guess how many times you have agreed to be in someone's database when you were not ready to make a purchase, include all the times you signed up for an email list or a text message for a discount code that you never used. Think about that. How many times have you gone in to buy something at a store and they say, can I please have your email address? Do you not give it? I mean, I always give it. I always give it. Yeah, how many times have you gone onto a website to buy something and it says, for 10% off, give me your email address and phone number? I did it this weekend when I bought my golf bag because it's way too expensive. So I wanted every dollar I could get back, but I really quick put it in. Every website I went to look at golf bags, they asked me for my email address and phone number. And I immediately got a text that said, thanks for joining Ghost Golf. Thanks for joining Black Clover. You know, and if I don't want to hear from them anymore, I'll let them know. But I buy stuff from both places all the time. So I'll get discount codes and I'll use them. As will your clients. Don't be afraid to ask. The worst answer is going to be what? No. It's not going to be, I'll take a finger and nothing like that. They'll just say no. Yeah. I think we feel like that though. Like if we ask them, they're going to do something damaging to us. What are they going to do? Punch you in the nose? Rejection. We have a natural fear of rejection. Yeah. But if you're like me and you try to date in high school, rejection comes natural. No. So it's easy for me. But seriously, it's a fear of rejection is what keeps us from doing it. But it's okay because it's a numbers game and it's not rejection. It's not right now. All right, so see, so it asked me to do a little thing that I'm not going to do because it's silly. How many of you ended up eventually buying something after receiving multiple messages from the company or person you had to, who you were in their database? Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody in here ever bought something from Walmart because you got an email from Walmart?
Yep.
I never buy anything from my place.
Goodness.
I avoid T-Mobile.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I have one subscribe. Yeah, anytime then you purchase something, you automatically get resubscribed.
Yeah, so it says here to, I'm not gonna ask you to raise your hand because everybody's done it, but it says raise your hand if you've ever signed up for an email list or a text message for a discount code you didn't use the moment you signed up. And I know the answer to that is all 5 of us in the room right now.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
text messages from Bully Max, the dog food people, all the time.
Yeah, I didn't quite hear you, Desmond. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get text messages from people I've signed up and gave my phone number to all the time, especially the like dog food people that sell the dog food. They're always texting my phone.
Yeah, it can be a pain in the behind. But it says here, lower your hand if you've only done this once. Which we've all done it more than once.
Hmm.
Anybody here done it less than 5 times? If you say yes, you're a liar. I signed up for a discount code that you didn't immediately use. And we've all done it. I mean, if you, like I said, buy something online, they ask you the email address and phone number. Buy something at a store, they ask you for your email address and phone number. The whole purpose of that is to grow their database. And we should be doing the same thing. We talked about mind share before and how important it is to converting leads to contacts and contacts to appointments. So look at these stats. So the NAR stats on the slide, 74 to 75% of all buyers and sellers spoke with just one agent before choosing them to represent them. You hear that? 75% of all buyers only interviewed one agent. Only 15% of them even considered more than one agent. These are NAR stats. This is every agent, every brokerage in the country. So we would have to do ours on our own. So that's what we'd have to do. But truthfully, it wouldn't vary much. I mean, you're talking maybe a 2 to 3% variance probably from market to market. But what that says is you need to be top of mind when buyers and sellers are ready to think of real estate. And what I like to say, and I know you've all heard me say it, if you're not reaching out to your database and your sphere, somebody else is. Right? You want to keep that mind share. It says, let me make sure I didn't lose my place. You remember an earlier discussion about how many real estate databases each of your leads and contacts are in? Think about that. Have you ever visited a competitor site and then started getting emails, texts, and perhaps calls from them? Yeah, you're in other people's databases, just like your sphere, along with everyone in your database. Somebody else is reaching out to them. So it naturally follows the goal number 2 of nurturing our relationships with our contacts is to stay top of mind. Right? Potato chips. What do you think about? First thing comes to your mind when you think of potato chips. Lay's. Lay's. Hey, Aaron, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Lay's has mind share. Soda. What do you think about when you think soda? Coke?
Root beer.
That's your fault. Yeah. But you think the Coke brand, Coca-Cola, not just their other soft drinks they make, has 51% of the market share. Just Coca-Cola alone, that drink has 51% of the market share. Of all sodas. Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not talking about the other Coca-Cola products, but the drink Coca-Cola. Yeah. But it's mind share, and that's what you want. When people in your area think real estate, you want them to think Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
If they have questions about this NAR settlement, they should be calling you. They shouldn't be jumping into YouTube or diving into bad posts and fear-based posts by real estate agents who are terrified. They should be calling you. And you reminding them that you're a real estate agent, you're there for them, will make that happen more often than not. See, but tell this is fun. So at the bottom it says, share an anecdote of a time when using follow-up to stay top of mind with a contact resulted in a closed transaction after an extended duration of building the relationship. So it wants me to share a story of when that worked for me. So I can do that. When I was selling with ADT, I got a list of every new business in town that opened up. Right. As soon as they applied for a business license, I knew it. So I went, knocked on the door, let them know, hey, I'm with ADT. I know every business needs security. I know there's a security system in this business. You want me to activate it for you? And the client said, yes, I do. But right now we're doing a lot of things to get the store ready. So call me in 2 weeks. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I went out my car, sat down, got on my iPad, put in the notes, set myself a reminder, call them in 2 weeks, or stop by in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, come into their parking lot, knock on the door, and they said, "Thank you, we're ready to sign up with you." I said, "I haven't even quoted you." They said, "I know. We asked you to call me in 2 weeks. We asked your competitors who stopped by to call us in 2 weeks. So, but they bombarded us daily with text messages, phone calls, not once a week, but daily."
Mm.
Listen. Yes, yes. That being said, if you still put somebody on a once a month drip campaign, that's not a bad idea. You're still staying top of mind. Does that make sense?
Right.
Right. Right, and we flipped that when I was in the two-way radio business. It took us 3 years to get a farm. There's a big farm, he was in multiple counties, and he needed a way to communicate across lines. And I just knocked on his door once a month for 3 years. Finally, he said, "Yep, I think it's time to do it. It's getting hard to reach this guys and this guys when we need information." It was very valuable for farmers to be able to click a button and talk to everybody that worked. Right, and it was very valuable for the guy that owned all 3 farms to be able to click a button and turn a channel and talk to a certain farm in another county about what needs to happen there. You know, it's fixing to rain, we need to do this. Got a bad storm coming, we need to do this. So, yeah, it was 3 years of knocking on the door once a month with the script of, "I'm your two-way radio guy. If you need anything, just let me know." And then they started asking questions. And then it finally said, "Yep, I'm ready to buy." Then he spent $750,000. Last 90s, late 90s. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got to imagine he had to build towers because he wanted his own. He didn't want to rent. So he built towers and he built extenders. So you had to have connect towers that were connected to where no matter where they were, they could key it up and talk. So it was a big deal. Yeah. Yeah. It was a giant operation. And he wrote a check. As most farmers can. But it was 3 years of being consistent. He didn't call my competitor because he just called me and he goes, "I'm ready." That was it. Because he saw my face every day for 36 months. The fortune is in the follow-up. Keep that in your brain. Fortune is in the follow-up. Our clients never stop being contacts. We continue to nurture relationships with them after the transaction to remain in emotional proximity and to help them share our value proposition. How many of you have asked a friend who they go when they're looking for a new position, a new hairstylist, a tailor, or a restaurant to try? How many of you have asked a friend where to go? I do it all, especially now I'm new to town. I don't know anybody. Why didn't you just pick the first thing that came up in an online search for what you were looking for? Yeah, she said it right. She wants someone good, somebody she knows that they trusted. And if my friend trusted them, there's a good chance I can trust them. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why you want to stay in contact with them after close. And it's okay to ask for testimonials and reviews. It's okay. So for important purchases of service and goods, it's natural to seek personal recommendations. Do it all the time. Your contacts, especially the ones who have bought or sold with you, are a great source of future leads. If you are top of mind because you continue to follow up and give them amazing customer service, they will think of you when someone asks them for real estate advice. You know, "Please call Jesse. He did a great job of selling my house." So in 2021, NAR found that 47% of buyers who used an agent were referred to them by a friend, neighbor, or relative. That number jumps to 57% for first-time home buyers. You should be that recommendation. We should think of it that way. That's why we do awesome job with customer service and post-close customer service. Don't treat them as a transaction, treat them as a relationship. And it's just rare you break up with them. But sometimes you might. So any ahas so far?
Like you said, fortune's in the follow up.
Fortune is in the follow-up. That is correct, Desmond. Fortune is in the follow-up.
Seeing how many people go for the first agent they meet with.
I'm struggling to hear you, Desmond. Hold on, try it again.
My aha was how many people go with the first agent they speak with.
Yes, so Jesse said his aha was the first agent. How many people go with the first agent to talk to? That's, hold on. All right, Jesse, sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see?
Got him to do it. There you go. So we can hear that better now, right? The owl was turned down really low. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's good, Jesse, and also good, Desmond. Thank you. Did you all have any ahas? Yeah, some people like have what they call like their ABC database. Their A, you get more touches, the B, not as many, C, not as many. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's notes you want to make in your database. That's why I fully believe like at the end of the day, you need to update your database with everybody that you talk to. If that's one person, you need to get in your timeline and make a note. Type it in, talk to them today, didn't make any progress. Yeah, just let them know, had a text message with them today, just anything. You should update your database every day. New name, new phone number, straight to your database. You already know how important lead follow-up is and how you can use the 19 to connect and 1 to cement plans to connect with leads from session 10 and 11. So now let's talk about how you can use the 36 to convert plan to stay in contact long-term and gain the benefit of clients and referrals from your database. So y'all remember these? The 19 to connect, the 1 to cement, 36 to convert. Do we remember going through those? So your 36 to convert plan is a comprehensive program with different layers of input. And it contains a mixture of phone calls, newsletters, events, market updates, home valuations, and other value-based products. Sorry, I read that really fast. It's a lot. The trick is to find what people in your market and to design your touches to match what they value. You don't necessarily have to put those things in there, but it's very important for the people that you're not currently working with that you have quarterly phone calls with. Bi-weekly emails offering some type of information of value. 2 touches that are events or get-togethers or parties of some kind. 4 touches of promotional direct mail, such as magnets, calendars, market reports, etc. And I know some agents that have increased this to 72 and 96 touches. Yes.
So why the 19?
So the 19 is to convert them from leads to contacts. Once you make them a contact, then you put them on the 36. There's 1 to cement the contact. There's 19 to connect with them, and then there's 1 to cement it, and then you move them as a contact, and then you put them on the 36. Does that make sense? And then when you start to get closer to setting appointments, then you're going to move them off the 36 to make them into something, change it into something different for a current buyer or current seller. Does that make sense? Is that clear to y'all too, Jesse and Desmond?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, good. Thank you. Oh, we can hear him so much better. That was turned way down, but. So how will you know what your contacts value? How do you know what your contacts value? Getting to know them, that's right. Okay, so what Teresa is asking, what is a high value touch that solidifies the relationship that you have just established and opens the door for future interaction? So that's going to be different per I would think, because this is once they respond to you. That's when you're gonna submit it with like something as simple, it can be as simple, like, hey, thank you for responding, I appreciate, I value you as a future client. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And then you move them into the 36 to connect. Or convert, excuse me. Does that make sense? You solidify their response with the response, thanking them. Does that make sense?
My thoughts. Try to like relate to them in some way, but it's right for the whole, not very personal. So this is my market, and it's pretty small, so even if I don't know them, if someone that they know knows them, or if there's something that I found out they like, or it's more like a high touch. There's a community leader in my area who like I work in the same realm with like not-for-profit stuff, and she happened to tell me about how she had a parcel issue and her restaurant was thousands of dollars off. So I got her in contact with like a lender just to like help out, and so that kind of took us from like talking more about the not-for-profit stuff that we're doing. All of a sudden, she very much perceives me as like, oh yes, you just helped me with that, right? And yeah, so like, to me, I don't know if that's a high value.
Well, it is. It's just anything to, as it says, using the word submit, it's anything you can do to create a little bit more of a bond between. Because at first, when you're using the 19 to connect, that's one-way conversation. They haven't responded to you in anything at all. Then when they respond to you, now they're contact. And then you submit that some form or fashion with appreciation, with value, something, like Stacy did it with sending them to a lender to help them understand something. That might be, you never know, that you may be sending them in for the 19 to connect, and they may respond to you like, what's going on with this NAR stuff anyway? And then you say, well, let me call you and we'll talk about that. That's going to solidify them and make them, because once they give you permission to become a contact, two-way conversation, you solidify that in some form of fashion. Don't let it linger for days. When they do it pretty quick. Does that make sense? I'm gonna have to ask you to talk louder. I'm sorry, the HVAC, yeah. Mhm. So they said they were looking for a family member or a friend or something? Yeah. Yeah, I would just ask for their email and phone number. Say, do you mind if I get their email and phone number so I can send them some more information about the house, maybe even like a MLS sheet or some information about the house. And you're doing it from contribution. You're not saying, can I get their number so I can call them and set up an appointment? Can I get their information so I can send them some more information about this place? And that comes off as less pushy, but helpful. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so our message for the 36 touches should do two things. One, build our connection to the contact by getting to know their needs and wants. And two, elicit a response from the contact that puts you into dialogue with them as quickly as possible. We call messages that do the latter a MOFR, make offer for immediate response. All right, so it says for me to remind you of the 6 connection questions that were covered in section 11. The who, what, why, where, when, and how. Who are they? What do they want? Where do they want it? Why do they want it? When do they want it? And how do they plan to do it? So a MOFR can be a direct offer, one designed to get a response from someone who is ready to buy or sell with you now. Or an indirect offer, a message is not directly about buying or selling, however, it does help you build your relationship. The immediate response, like it says, it's not necessarily, yes, I want to list my house. It's, them letting you know that, yeah, I don't mind being in your database, or yes, you can have my information. It's getting an immediate response. So what might be some examples of an indirect MOFR you might use in your 36 to convert touch plan? Think about some ways you can have indirect, not necessarily, yes, I'll buy, yes, I want to sell, but something more indirect. What's a good offer for an immediate response? Opt in for a giveaway is what Stacy said. That's a good one.
Home value.
Home value. Yep, that's good, Desmond. That's a lot better too. That owl was turned way down. I don't know if we even knew that. Anything else? That's okay. Those are 2 good ones. But no, I mean, those are 2 good ones. Those are 2 good ones. And it will give an immediate response if they want it. If they don't want it, a lot of times they just won't answer, and they're still in your database. And I will say, and I know I've talked to Desmond about this too, that what Travis Cox said is that every email he sends, the subject line says Travis Cox, Realtor, Keller Williams Realty Group. Every subject line, even if it's got something after that, every one of them says Travis Cox, Realtor, KWO.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they don't read it, they see Travis Cox, Realtor. Yeah.
I want to start doing you saw. Okay, that's a great fit. Otherwise, I don't know how I find like blueprints, like a big box of rich chocolates that say like share the place and like page. You can not like follow to them. But they're all one person like I thought that was that person got like this
Yeah, no, that is good. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be a big one, $50 Starbucks gift certificate might get you 4 Starbucks drinks or something. Something small that just grabs attention. So now in the participants guide, there is it wants you to take 10 minutes to develop your own 36 touch plan. So we're going to let that be an assignment. We're not going to do it right now. Homework, develop a 36 touch plan. And I will make sure Brian asks you all to check on that next Monday. What's that? Yes, just put it in your calendar. It'll be due exactly 1 week after my birthday.
Yeah, happy 25th birthday, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
25.
Glad you knew my birthday, my age. I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah.
25 years past what should have been retirement, probably. All right, so if you have 200 contacts in your database and you put all of them on the 36 touch plan, how many touches is that per year?
720?
What's that?
No, I lied. Hold on. 7,200?
7,200. Yep, 7,200. Desmond was quick on the math on that one. Good job.
My mental math.
If you have 200 contacts in your database, that is 7,200 touches. That might feel exciting for some of you and overwhelming for others. And the one thing Gary Keller and Jay Papasan explained, that we need a big why and to think big. They also share that the way you get there is to break down our someday goals into smaller and smaller goals until we get to a daily goal and the right now goal. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
If you're, whatever your someday goal is, you got to chunk it down to make it feel more achievable and less overwhelming. 'Cause I think we did that like going over the economic model. You know, when you find out how much money you want to make, you, oh dear God. And then I told Stacy, you just really need one appointment every other week. She's like, what? Statistically.
Seems so easy, right?
Yeah, it seems easy. Yeah, to make the money she said she needed, not wanted, but needed. We decided it was one appointment every other week, and she could statistically, she'll make that money. It gets into think about the process, don't think about the outcome. You got to think about your process. Yeah, because which it will. Yeah, yeah, just like she said, we understand when we figure those numbers out, you've already factored in closings falling through. So you know that I'm still on pace. It's okay, because I got more coming, because I'm doing the dailies. Yeah. Right. Exactly right. Exactly right.
Everyone in word travel experience competent.
Yeah, and I think of it for everybody. I mean, and there's some brokerages out there that do that. I mean, but usually when Redfin comes to Redfin, they're like the Walmart of real estate. Redfin, they're, I don't think they're around here very much. Yeah.
They do that. They have a lot of black real estate.
Yeah, they're not very popular
No.
with
They
other
do a
agents.
ton of business. They have to.
They just don't make any money.
Yeah.
Which is why they don't stick around very long. Yeah. So stay motivated, keep up with your touches. Remember that every touch is getting you closer to your someday goal and your big why. Those 7,200 touches are how you get to your someday goal. And what's crazy is how many of those can be automated. So we have the 1 year goal, and we know what we need to break down that month, week, and day to be able to set a goal to that now. I read that terribly, and I apologize. Turn to goal setting to the now in your participants guide, which we're not going to do, and demonstrate the steps to the activity, because I know all of you don't have the full participants guide in front of you. So what we're going to do is you start with how many people, start with how many of the people in your database are contacts, people you have permission with two-way conversation. What's that? Yeah, you want to know how many people how many you have are leads and how many are contacts. We want to know how many are contacts, multiply the number of contacts by 4 to calculate how many telephone call touches you're going to make this year. Divide the total number of phone calls by 12 for the number of calls you need to make each month. Does that make sense? You have 200 contacts in your database. You have what? 1,000 calls a month.
Having like 300 two ways, then that's 1,200. And you can make that.
Divided by 1,200.
I'm sorry, 12,000. Right?
300 times 4 is 1,200.
Yeah.
Divided by 12 is 100.
Yeah. 100.
And there's 20 business days in a month.
Mhm.
So you're dividing 100 by 20. So that's 5 calls a day.
It's so easy, right?
Yep. Chucking it down. No, it's in your participants guide. It's the goal setting to the now. It's not in this slide. But you just take the number of contacts, not leads, but contacts. Multiply that by 4 divide it by 12, and then you can divide that by the week or the day. If that makes sense. You can divide that number by 4 to get weekly calls, or that number by about 20 to get daily calls. Because we don't make lead generating phone calls on the weekend. We're supposed to be with our family and doing showings and appointments by appointment only, because your weekend time is valuable. So you can find helpful links to how to use smart plans to set up your Twilio account and tag your contacts in your participants guide. And you can also ask Mallory. Mallory's our tech trainer. She can help you with any of that. You can also use the question mark icon in Command to find answers and tips for how to use Command. It's in the top right corner of every command screen that you go to is a question mark. And there's actually a way you can directly contact support there. They won't always be on for an immediate chat, but you can.
So you said go to the little question mark and it gives you ideas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll pull it up after we get done with the slides. If y'all would like to see that too, Jesse and Desmond, I'll pull up Command so you can see what that is. Don't let me forget to do that. Remember, I'm 1 day older today. So any ahas through that? Any at all that y'all want to talk about?
Oh, like we definitely talked about it in other sessions, but I think, just looking at your goal and then breaking it down in months and then weeks and then days on what you need to do to reach that goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a systematic approach.
Yeah, it just makes them more achievable. It really does. You don't overwhelm yourself with, I have to sell 50 units this year. You think, yes, no matter how many people you're working with right now, what you do today sets you up, your lead gen today sets you up for 2 to 3 months down the road. So if you ever get overwhelmed with that, let me know. And I'll do the door knocking for you. Ask Stacy, she knows. I threatened her too. So. All right. So each day at Ignite, of course, we grow in how you think, feel, and act, and implement what you've learned. From learning and ahas, you've moved toward the achievement of your big life. And that's what we're here for, to achieve big goals. So I'll ask, just through the Ignite classes that we've taken, I know some of you are brand new, Desmond, Stacy, y'all been around for a minute also. Would you say Ignite has helped you? Yes or no?
Yes, I would. Especially every Monday too. I'm always motivated when I leave Ignite on Mondays.
Good.
It used to be longer last year, or it was 9 to what? It was 9 to 12 last year.
Listen, you got somebody angry over here, Desmond. What's that?
I see somebody out back letting their little dog.
You don't sound like a little dog.
Oh no, that's my dog. But I see there's a little dog back there. Someone's letting the dog out.
Okay. But I think this is personal, is that I don't care how often, how many closings you've had. I think Ignite classes can help anybody.
Yeah.
And it's nothing else. It's mindset and refreshing. Because they say, like, as James Reeser's been in business, probably forgot more about real estate than everybody else here knows. He sits in these Ignite classes sometimes, and he does give information, but he also listens. And that's because you still learn.
For me, I have to hear something 8,000 times sometimes to actually
Yeah.
get through my thick skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've been hearing this stuff now for a year and a half, and I feel like it's just now starting to flip.
Yeah, and truthfully though, people only learn by self-discovering. We can sit here and tell you till we're blue in the face to do something, but until you learn that it is good for you, you'll just keep listening. Does that make sense? Once you realize, because everything sounds amazing until you start doing it. And then when you start doing it, then it becomes amazing. And that's two totally different things. So if you hear something new, try it. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and you can try something else. Failure is the key to success. Okay, now we're to the success systems part. Yep, that's what I was talking about with the success systems is, like, right now we should be having 10 conversations a day, 10 contacts added to your database a day, 10 handwritten notes sent out to anybody. That's not anybody in particular, but just a 10-5-1 social media engagement, and then other enrichments for yourself, for your own business.
What is that like? Like stuff
Taking
this-
classes, daily affirmations, any kind of extra studying you can do to grow yourself. Yeah. And now we get into the role play stuff, which we don't do in this class. So we breezed through that one pretty quick, unless y'all want to, y'all want to do a role play for 5 to 10 minutes with each other.
Like,
There's a script on page C5. And I know I've given you all, it's not on there. It's in, you'd have to have the full participation guide or the script book to have that on there, have it with you. I know I've emailed you all the script books, but yeah, yeah. And it's easy. Well, command, let me pull up command. How about that, guys? Let me stop share for a second. So you have to look at me for a minute. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, with each birthday, I don't get prettier. All right, do y'all see my command screen? Good, good. Here's the question mark. Right here on the top right. You can click on it. It'll take you to guided tours of command, Keller Williams University classes, chat with support, or you can post an idea yourself, actually. If you're scrolling through here and you think you find something that would be helpful, click on this. You can post an idea yourself. That goes to a website called ideas.kw.com. You can actually go in there and look to see if your idea has already been posted, and if it has, you can, for lack of better words, like it, and the more likes, the more attention it gets. Does that make sense? And no matter what page you're on, if I go into my database, see, question mark is still there. Referrals tab. How many of y'all have gone into the referrals tab?
like once.
Yep.
Where most of the girls are coming from, it's the prospects.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can see your network, what it's doing. Of course, I don't have anything because I don't do any business, but what I
You
do,
can see
no. No.
referrals that are coming. To refer, like, the most referrals that are like from the market center where they're going.
No, because they're coming from you and you and you, not, no, because this is my personal, like I'm an agent command, not the market center command. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like I'm an agent. But what I do a lot is when an agent calls me and says, hey, can you find me? Like Marlene, she just texted me and said, how can I find an agent in Puerto Rico? She got a referral in Puerto Rico. So there's market centers on the map. I can go to Puerto Rico, the market center in San Juan. There's all the agents in Puerto Rico. Find one?
7, 8 agents in Puerto Rico.
Probably not, no.
I was gonna say, that's a small town.
See, I could click on this. And there's the agents in the market center. I doubt it's 708. Could be 708 agents on the entire country. There could be 708 agents. There's some population there, though. I mean, San Juan's got a big population. I mean, we have 1,800 agents in Fort Wayne. Not KW. No, all of them. And then you can click on the person. And if they do a great job of updating their information, you would see, but see, they do not. So for me, I'm going back. I'm going to find some, see, he's only got one closed unit. If you want to find somebody that's more productive, see, this guy's been with KW for 6 years, but he's not showing showing 4 closed units this year. Last year, he had 3.6 million with an average closing of 900,000. Yeah. So you can click on and find information about all these. And then there's this button. Would you like to send an invitation? That means they'll be in your referral network. So you'll have a quick contact back and forth through command.
Just for, sorry, I didn't want to. So that right there, like that, how does command decide who's first? Like what's the algorithm for that? Because I feel like if you're like the top few, like you have an advantage for those at the bottom.
Right now, it's sort of random, so you can change it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So you can do filters. Yeah. Yep, sort. So let's say listing sold. So then this person's saying, they're saying has the most listings sold, which they don't have a very updated database. It's actually saying they only sold 4 listings, and that's this year probably. So. See here, you can send a referral to her with all the referral fees and whatever you need to do. Right there. Just with the click of a button and send it. So that'd be your referral agreement. Does that make you seeing that, Jesse and Desmond? You see that okay? And of course, that's anywhere. So like if you change that from Puerto Rico to, let's say, Los Angeles. If I want to go to Los Angeles, which is a very big territory, you're going to have to zoom into a closer neighborhood that you want to look at, right? So,
Oh my gosh.
well, I've got market center selected. You want to see something crazy, go to production. And it's going to show all the agents, which is bananas.
Found too many agents.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to Long Beach.
All the little red dots are marker.
All the little blue dots are agents, the red dots are market centers or business centers.
So all the little blue dots will say the numbers inside.
That's how many agents are in that circle in that close proximity. Mhm.
Well,
Yeah. So again, I could go over here and say, I want to go to most closed units. Eric Delgado popped up. You can see he's got 339 closed units. This is on a rolling 12 months, rolling 12 months.
how is that possible?
Oh, listen, there's agents with teams out there that do like more than our entire market center does in volume.
Like one agent, they have a staff for them.
And agents under them, they have a team under them. Mhm.
But is that just for him? Or-
Under his name, yeah, he may be a team lead, but it may be him. I mean, I saw an interview with an agent that she was a solo agent, had 7 staff, and she averaged, I think, 1.3 closings a day.
What?
1.3 closings a day.
A day, yeah, it was her average for the year.
I don't even see how you'd be able to, at a certain point, you cannot make more time, how you'd be able to hit these people.
Well, she doesn't do any of the paperwork. She's got staff that does paperwork, social media, all her listings, most of her contacts. Her job mainly is to show up to the appointments. She does the listing appointments, the buying appointments, and most of showings.
Every.
Yeah.
Be a lot, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's a point you have to understand, and I'm sure she leverages her day right, so we'll have to see how that works out. But yeah. But this is the way you can search referral. But again, up here, there's a question mark. You can go to guided tours, click on Keller Williams University. It's going to give you classes you can take there. Chat with support. Which again, if you have a question inside of support, this is something you can do. And you notice it's based on where I am. Accept referral network, send a referral network, or just click get in touch and it'll get you in touch with chat or have you to send an email, one of the two. And something a lot of us don't utilize that I'll show you is this Connect. There's tons of classes inside this Connect. So here's one, build your business as a spouse team. There's an hour-long class right there. And you can just click in this box and search for something you want and help you find it. See, like it says here, I love Apple, on-demand courses, level up your lead gen, command your business, all kinds of different stuff here. And then there's KW University courses it'll take you to. See, there's your Ignite, your Bold, build a 100K pipeline in 90 days, just right there. All kinds of stuff right there at your fingertips to help you out. Like, of course, if you click on Ignite or Bold, it's going to direct you to a local Bold. There's no Bold online. So there. Any questions? I know I pivoted a little bit. This was this quick Ignite session. Yeah, Jasmine?
No, I was gonna say you explained it pretty well. Aaron Hoover showed me this maybe a month or 2 ago. So yeah, you explained it. Hit the nail right on the head.
All right, well, good. Yeah, don't forget Connects there. Then if you have in-depth questions about Command, of course, Mallory is your first go-to. I know about most of it. I don't know anything about opportunities. Not gonna lie. This is what I thought was interesting, because if you look, they have updates right here on command. Every time they do an update. And this time they did translations and paid ads are available now. Users can choose from 27 different languages for the paid ad experience. That's pretty good. Well, you know, sir.
Am I early? Early, right?
It's 12 o'clock, yeah. Yeah, we're finishing up Ignite. I'm just showing them. They talked about the question mark in command where you can just click here to ask questions.
Oh, yeah. Which Ignite session are we in?
We are in 12, which is strengthen relationships. Mhm.
So good.
It was a good one. It's a quick one, so we were done early, so I went into command to show them that example about the question mark.